Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to look at some of the other types of externalities here. So don't forget, this market is showing us that there are no externalities at all. The private cost of manufacture is the same to the society. We've got the private benefits of consumption is the same as society's benefit that they receive. So there is no negative or positive impact here at all of this market operating. It operates at equilibrium. We've got that there and there. Now, what do we want to show? So let's look at the consumption of a good. Okay, we're going to look at what's called the negative externality of consumption. Okay, so let's take this and we're going to change that. We're going to say that actually society benefits less from the consumption of this good than the private individual. And we'll come up with some examples in a minute. But let's take a look. That means society benefits, the marginal social benefit is lower than the private benefit of consumption. Okay, so creates a new equilibrium. There's our new price, there's our new quantity. So what's the first thing we can recognize? Well, the first thing we recognize is the market still operates here. Okay, but society would like it to operate here. Now, what is that telling us? Well, it's telling us that this is the socially optimal level of consumption or production. That's where society wants the market to operate. It doesn't, it operates here. But that's where society would like it to operate. Okay, so let's see. So if society wants it to operate here, but it actually operates here, we can identify this triangle as being what we call the welfare loss. So think about that. Society is interested in reducing the consumption of this good or service, okay, because it is less beneficial to society than it is to the individual consumer. So think of some examples. If you have the consumption of tobacco, for example, that may cause additional costs in your healthcare service. If you have the consumption of alcohol, the same could be said. You find that not as healthy workforce, an additional cost for medical care. Okay, so it's things like that. The consumption of fast motor vehicles, which means you get greater car crashes, you get more car accidents on the roads, or the consumption of weapons, for example, like knives or guns. These things benefit society less than they benefit the individual. They cause a third effect. They cause not just an effect on consumers, not just an effect on firms, but they have a third, an external effect on society. In this case, it's what we call a negative externality of consumption. And don't forget, because we are focused on these lines here, then we are looking at the consumption of the good, okay? Not the production of the good. This would be the production of the good, this line. But this line here and these lines here represent the consumption of those goods by consumers and the subsequent impact on society. So don't forget, this is another negative externality of consumption with a socially optimal level of output that's lower and therefore a welfare loss. Okay, society is negatively affected by the consumption of these goods. Think about demerit goods. Think about things that the government want to reduce the consumption of. Okay, and that will give you an idea of the kind of examples that you can use in your written responses. Okay, just to go back to some basics, don't forget marginal private cost, marginal social cost, marginal private benefit, marginal social benefit. Okay, next, coming up, some positive externalities